You've seen Indonesia in travel reels, the overwater huts, the Bali sunsets, maybe even the Gili Islands. But what if I told you the most unbelievable places in this country aren't even on the map? Islands with no airports, lagoons where the water glows like glass, craters hiding entire worlds inside. This isn't a brochure. This is LuxeUncharted. And these are 9 unreal islands in Indonesia no one tells you about. We're going in. Somewhere in the Far East, where maps start to blur, an island floats like a hallucination. Misool doesn't just look untouched, it feels untouched. Most travelers chase paradise and end up standing in lines for it. Misool is different. It doesn't offer you paradise. It tests whether you deserve it. No cars, no roads, just reef, cliff, and time. Kayak through mangrove tunnels where baby sharks swim beside you, or dive off your doorstep into reefs that shimmer like stained glass. Local legend says Misool is the Southern King's realm, one of 4 sacred islands that protect Raja Ampat. It's also the hardest to reach, and maybe that's why it still exists. Stay at Misool Eco Resort. Built by hand from reclaimed wood, powered by the sun, and surrounded by marine sanctuaries it helped create. Come between October and April for peak clarity. Fly to Sorong, take a ferry, then a boat. Misool doesn't happen by accident, you earn it. But the next island, it's not floating, it's vanishing, into water so clear you can see 30 meters straight down. Welcome to Wakatobi. From the air, it doesn't look like land at all, just reefs scattered like secrets across the sea. Wakatobi feels like it was designed by the ocean itself. Every edge is soft, every ripple deliberate. The name fuses 4 islands, Wangi Wangi, Kaladupa, Tomia, Binongko. Together, they form a reef system so pristine, it's considered one of Earth's last untouched dive zones. Here, visibility reaches 40 meters. Corals bloom like frozen fireworks. Below the surface, everything slows. Local communities have lived by the tide for generations. Boat builders, fishers, reef guardians. Their rhythm is the water. Stay at Wakatobi Dive Resort, where villas face the sea, meals come from the tide, and the only clock is the sun. Best season, April to December. Fly to Bali, then take a private charter. If you want convenience, this isn't your island. But if you want silence, this is it. The next island isn't just silent, it's haunted by empires and glowing with coral. Welcome to the Banda Islands. In the middle of the Banda Sea, far from flight paths or ferry lines, lies a string of islands that once ruled the world. The Bandas were the heart of the global nutmeg trade. They were once worth more than gold. In fact, the Dutch traded Manhattan to keep control of them. Now, most people have never heard their name. Forts crumble under vines. Cinnamon trees sway beside coral cliffs. Underwater, it's another kingdom. Reefs, World War II wrecks, and volcanic drop-offs. Climb Fort Belgica at sunrise. Drift dive off Gunung Api. Sleep on a wooden Phoenici boat under a velvet sky. Fly to Ambon, then boat or liveaboard into waters that don't know the word rush. Come between October and March. But if Banda feels like history frozen in reef, the next island feels like myth made real. Welcome to Flores. If Indonesia has a mythic heart, it beats here, in volcanic highlands and dragon-guarded coasts. Start in the mountains, at Kelimutu, where crater lakes shimmer in colors that shift with the seasons. Locals say these are the resting places of souls. Venture down to Weh Rebo, a remote village of 7 cone-shaped huts where electricity ends and oral history begins. Then head to the coast and meet the dragons. Komodo Island is raw, wild, and still ruled by instincts older than civilization. Finally, Padar, a ridgeline stitched from 3 different planets. Black Beach, White Beach, Pink Beach, one viewpoint. Stay on a live-aboard Finisi or tuck into a jungle eco-lodge where the mornings smell like mist and cinnamon. Best time? May to September. Fly to Labuan Bajo, and don't expect anything to come easy. But what comes next might be even harder to believe. An island, inside a crater lake, inside a volcano. Welcome to Samosir. Samosir isn't just remote, it's inverted. Lake Toba is the largest volcanic lake on Earth, formed by an eruption that nearly changed human history. And at its center floats this, a green island wrapped in myth. Fog drapes its hills. Batak villages stand with horned rooftops beside carved cliff graves. Their legends tell of a sacred fish and the birth of a people. This isn't just landscape, it's inheritance. Visit Ambarita, where ancient kings once ruled from stone thrones. Ride through pine forests. Paddle across the lake at dawn. Stay in a Batak-style guest house or a modern eco-lodge with nothing but sky and water at your door. Come May to September. Fly to Medan, then take the winding highland road to the edge of the crater. If Samosir is about memory, the next island is about instinct. Tribes, horses, ritual games. This is Sumba. Sumba doesn't rise, it unfolds. Rolling savanna hills, thatched roof villages where time sits cross-legged beside stone tombs. It's not famous, it doesn't try to be. In Werending Hills, the grass burns gold under the evening light. In Prajing, life follows rituals as old as the soil. And when you hear drums echo across the valley, you'll know Pasola is near. A tribal horseback war game held not for tourists, but ancestors. Stay at a woven wall lodge where silence comes free. Best time, May to October. Fly from Bali, land in another century. But now we return to the sea, to a place barely connected, by a bridge, by a breeze. Nusa and Ceningan. Just 30 minutes from Bali, but a universe away. 2 islands, stitched together by a yellow bridge. Penida is dramatic. These, they're personal, slower, underrated. On Ceningan, the blue lagoon glows like antifreeze. At Mahana Point, it's just you, the ledge, and 30 feet of faith. On Lembongan, the cliffs at Devil's Tear throw salt water into the sky like volcanic breath. Kayak through mangroves. Sleep near Dream Beach. Stay in a cliffside villa or a hammock with no clocks. Come April to October, get there by fast boat and forget what the internet looks like. But if Lembongan slows your heart, the next island silences it completely. This is Weh. At the northwestern edge of Indonesia, beyond Banda Aceh, floats a jungle island that time missed. Weh Island isn't polished, it's wild, and that's its power. Snorkel at Iboi, where coral forests stretch like dreams. Dive off Rubaya Island, near underwater volcano vents. or ride through winding jungle roads with no destination. This is Indonesia's kilometer zero, where all journeys begin, and maybe where some finally stop searching. Stay in a jungle bungalow or on a cliff where waves speak all night. March to September is best, and the only way in is by water. But our journey ends not in wilderness, but in sanctuary. Welcome to Moyo. Moyo doesn't need to convince you. It just opens and waits. Rainforest, waterfalls, monarch butterflies, and silence thick enough to cup in your hand. Mata Jitu is where Princess Diana once came to vanish. It still feels like she might be there, between the moss, the mist, the light. Stay at a luxury retreat, hidden beneath trees on a private bay, or sleep beneath stars with the sea at your feet. Come April to September, arrive by boat, leave when the forest lets you go. These islands weren't designed to impress you. They weren't made for Instagram, or guidebooks, or even memory. They simply exist. And if you're lucky, you'll leave part of yourself behind on one of them. Because sometimes, it's not about going somewhere new. It's about remembering what it means to feel wonder